Well, there you have it. Overland Trail with Rex Allen, the great cowboy star, and we had him here in Knoxville about two different times. Deadwood Don's up here with us today, and he's going to be helping me introduce our guest coming up here right now. And of course, we've got the opera with us here today. We'll be talking about Western happenings coming up here very soon, and we've got Brian Salesky. Brian, welcome to Riders of the Silver Screen.
What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to what we've got coming up here, telling all the folks about what you've got coming in. And one of the things I'll do, since Don did a little research on this and knows so much more about the older Westerns, we'll let him lead off with the questions for you here.
Well, of course, my knowledge comes from Nelson Eddy and Jeanette MacDonald, 1938 MGM, Girl of the Golden West. Mm-hmm. But this is an opera, and I think the best place to start is just tell us when it is and where it is and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Knoxville Opera is going to present the local premiere of Puccini's grand Western opera, The Girl of the Golden West, based on David Belasco's play, which the movie, as you mentioned, is based on as well. And we're doing that at the Tennessee Theater on February 8 and 10.
Oh, boy.
And this is an opportunity to see live on the stage a Western. It's the only one of its kind. There's never been anything composed like this. And what the audience can expect to see are gunfights, whiskey, poker games, and live horses.
Really? Live horses
on the stage of the Tennessee Theater.
A real horse opera.
It is the horse opera of all horse operas.
That's where the term came from, perhaps. This is it.
And it's a spaghetti Western because it's by an Italian guy in the Italian language. But even though it's in Italian, Andy, we project everything in English translation above the stage, so everybody can understand every word all the time.
What's going on here?
Yeah, and it's a story that takes us back to 1849 and the gold rush in California. So you've got all these colorful characters who are from all over the world. As you know, they are the people who mined for the gold. They were from China, they were from Australia, they were from everywhere. And the law was the law of the sheriff. That, you know, there were no courts in those days.
No.
And so you've got this great character, Sheriff Jack Grants, who's in love with the saloon keeper, Minnie, who's in love with this bandit who's actually there to rob their gold. And as the story unfolds, you actually get to meet and explore these characters and see how rough their lives were, how pitifully rough and difficult it was to just be alive and to sustain yourself. So you'll have the camp minstrel come and singing a song, breaking his heart about his mother who he misses. You have an Indian squaw and her would-be husband, Billy Jackrabbit. You've got the Wells Fargo agent, Ashby, who comes in on a horse.
And while we're here, Wells Fargo is presenting this.
That's right. Wells Fargo Advisors here in Knoxville is very generously sponsoring this production.
That's great.
And so you have all of these elements together, and when the audience comes to the theater, by the way, the Wells Fargo wagon's going to be right there in front of the Tennessee Theater on Gay Street, and they can all take pictures with them. They can take pictures with the wagon, they can take pictures with the cast in the lobby, and I hope you fellas are going to be there to join us.
Well, you know, nothing like this has ever been done. No, not around these parts of the country.
No, this is a one-time only opportunity,
Isn't
really.
that great? Now, you also told me off camera just a little while ago that you are inviting people to come down and encourage them to come in their Western garb?
Just like you fellas are today. Now, I'm the conductor, so I probably wear a tuxedo in the pit. But other than that, I want everyone to come looking like you guys are today.
But there was another thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
In the notes here, it said something about boots and bustiers.
Well,
and, tell me about that.
We have a wonderful fundraiser on February 2nd at Hunter Valley Farms. And it's Boost and Bustiers. It's a wonderful night of entertainment and Western-themed cuisine with games of chance, shall we say, and I mean horseshoes and everything. I mean, we're going to play all sorts of things that night, and it's a $100 ticket, which you can get by calling Knoxville Opera, which is 525-0795, or visit us on the website. And this is an opportunity for everyone to actually be Western, be a cowboy, be a cowgirl that night.
Right.
And there'll be a band and playing Western music.
Oh, man.
And it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I'm just
Absolutely
can't wait for that.
fantastic.
That's going to be great. The thing I like about it is you're bringing the real raw people and material
Yes.
into the productions.
Yes.
And you were talking about having horses on the stage.
Yeah,
and all that.
absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
Absolutely. Mr. Nicely is providing our horses.
Oh, he's a good one.
And we actually have to train opera singers, if you can imagine. We have to take them out to Mr. Nicely's place and train them to ride a horse. Now, not a gallop,
Yeah,
but
just
you
get on
have
it.
to learn how to get on and off.
Mount and dismount.
And you have to learn how to actually canter out to the stage and off the stage.
All right. Well, I thought no one else would ever do that. I did that at the Bijou Theater, if you remember, on Black
Wow,
Magic.
wow, that's
I did it on
fantastic.
the horse that I'm not riding now, but I had a horse earlier that I did that out on the stage there. Gene Autry brought Champion on
Oh, my
the
gosh,
stage
really?
there at the Bijou Theater here in 1938.
How
Or
fantastic.
38. And I went on one time to introduce some people, and I said, you know, I don't know, I understand Gene Autry was in here, but I don't know where Gene stood, but I could tell what Champ was.
What he used to do is he had this or a large piano, but it was short, and the Champion would get up on the piano, and a guy would play the piano, and Gene would sing.
That's
And
amazing.
good. Well,
what
I
a
tell
great
you,
artist he was.
Oh, Gene Autry.
But
Unbelievable.
now let's get our dates here now.
Yeah.
The fundraiser,
February
Boots and
2,
Busty, that's Groundhog
February
Day.
2nd, and that's the one at Hunter Valley Farm.
That's free.
Okay.
No, that one is
That's
the
a fundraiser.
$100 a person
I got you. All right,
fundraiser.
fundraiser. All right.
Then we've got the opera at the Tennessee Theater, February 8 and 10. 8 is Friday night, 10 is Sunday afternoon after church.
That's like 2:30.
2:30, exactly right. And we just hope everyone's going to take advantage
Now-
of this unique opportunity.
There's one other thing, and it may have passed. This is January 26th. There was
Showing of the movie
Yes.
is now passed.
Oh, it's now passed.
We
but,
did that
But that, like I say, that was my connection. You know, I remember Walter Pigeon as the sheriff,
Absolutely.
and Nelson Eddy as the bandit. And
That's
But the thing about this is, she is the only girl for miles.
And
isn't
that's
she?
why Belasco called it the Girl of the Golden
Yeah.
West. In fact, in the play and the novel, she's called Girl. She's not called Minnie.
Minnie.
She's called Girl. And he's Dick Johnson or Ramirez the Bandit.
Oh, that's the bandit.
And you told me about a rare connection to Phantom of the Opera with this.
Yeah, what's one thing that everybody who comes to this performance will recognize. In the end of the Act 1, the tenor, this Dick Johnson fella, he sings this beautiful, beautiful song. And one of the phrases of this song was used by Andrew Lloyd Webber in the Phantom of the Opera Broadway musical.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone, when they hear this, will say, wait, I know that.
Yeah,
So it'll
that's
be a
accurate.
shock to everybody.
Yeah, but it'll be a familiar thing to happen, though, in it.
Absolutely.
So everybody will like that.
So, you know, I encourage everyone who loves this era of our culture, this wonderful, wonderful culture we have about the Gold Rush era, to come down and have a great time with us and the horses and the pistols and the whiskey and the poker and the
Real-
blizzard in Act 2 and the Bible scene.
And real Western. Yes,
A real Western, live
What
in front.
what would possess Puccini to pick this?
Puccini was a master of understanding what was a dramatic story that people would love to hear live singing with. He was the master. He
was a
only,
marketer,
wrote,
it sounds
only
like,
wrote
doesn't it?
12 operas, but most of them are classics. La Boheme, Madame Butterfly, Turandot. These are evergreens. They play every day, everywhere in the world, because he understood how to take a great story and put great music to it. And from the note one of this opera, when that curtain bursts open, you feel like you're watching in Technicolor, CinemaScope.
Golly.
It is like being in those great How the West Was Won movies.
Yeah.
And I know you can go to KnoxvilleOpera.com, but in my going to it, I found that I had to put Girl of the Golden West in front of it, and then Knoxville Opera.
No, if you just go to KnoxvilleOpera.com, you'll find all sorts of places to click. Or you can just call us, 524-0795. We'd be happy to talk to everyone and sell some
And
tickets.
for tickets, they have to call that number.
They can call that number, or they can go on the website. We
Okay.
sell tickets on the website.
Okay.
Well, this
All of
sounds
our
like
events.
it's going to be more of a reality of the West rather than what we saw in the movies coming up. Where it's
Absolutely.
the reality of the tough times of the West.
Yes, absolutely. And if you gentlemen would be with us that night, I'd be so thrilled to have you
That'd be
Well,
great.
I
with
can
us.
Yes, we'll make it. We'll do it.
And I might even come out in one of your hats.
I've got them. You just let me know.
All right.
A tux and a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You know, I wear them quite a bit. I did a premiere of a movie doing that here
Right.
not long ago. I sure did. Yeah.
When we did Pirates of Penzance a couple of years ago, Andy, I came out in a pirate's hat and a patch on my eye, and I conducted the overture with a sword.
Oh man, now that's creative. That's good.
You know, we were having fun.
Oh, you're loving it.
You know,
Yeah,
we
you're
were having
loving it.
fun.
Yeah.
Well,
and this is our
I
kind of piece.
think that's the way to go about it. Is that too many people think opera is
Yeah,
you
for
know,
someone else.
Yeah,
The elite.
and if you're going to market it, you got to market it in today's terms.
Well, and also, we always have to remember, when operas were written way back then, they were written for real people to come to real theaters and have a good time.
That's right. and the people then, they knew what the audience wanted.
Yeah, and Shakespeare was the same way hundreds of years before.
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
wrote for the people in the street.
He sure did, and brought it to life on stage.
Absolutely.
Brought it to life. Well, I can't wait for this to come
Well,
about.
I'm so happy to be here today, and thank you for having me, and we look forward to seeing everybody
Well, what
at
I'm-
Girl of the Golden West.
What I'm really happy about the whole thing is that you chose us to come on and talk about it with.
Well, thank you.
Because
It's my
this
pleasure.
ties right in with what we do and what we believe
bet.
in here. And this is my 30th year of doing this.
God bless
And
you.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed what we just went through here. Brian Salesky, the Knoxville Opera. Please keep that in mind, those dates one more time, real quick.
February 8 and 10 at the Tennessee Theater, The Girl of the Golden West.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Brian Salesky. Thank
Pleasure.
you. Knoxville Opera. Folks, if you'd like to write to us at the address you see on the screen. We'd love hearing from you. Let us know what you think about our shows, and just let us hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. This is Marshall Andy saying, remember this, stay right where you are. We're coming back with music. Well, I want to thank Brian Salesky, the Knoxville Opera, for coming on.